I'm muted right now. There we go. All right, we should be live and in action now. What's up, team? Hope you guys are doing well. Mike, what's good? What's good? Hope you guys are crushing the day today. Good chatting with you in the DMs a little bit earlier, Mike. Let's see who's here. We got Arturo. What is up, brother? Hope you guys are doing well. Victor, what's good? What's good? What's good? Cool. Guys, I wanted to chat today. Specifically, going to be a quick one, speedy one today. Want to chat with you guys today on why you should be cutting some of your agency clients. And dude, the Titans smashed the Chargers, smashed them bad. Let's go. We love to see it. It wasn't a smashing in all fairness. It was an overtime dub, but it was a great game. It was one of the best football games I've been to. So super fun. But wanted to chat with you guys today on why you should be cutting some of your agency clients. I think it's something that is kind of skipped over, and I've had this conversation a couple times with a few of the clients that we have inside of our Hydra consultancy, and some of them are getting to this inflection point where they have to kind of choose: do they scale team, or do we bring on a little bit more high level clients, high end clients into our ecosystem? And that's the inflection point that I kind of want to talk today. And I've got some mental models here that I want to share with you guys. And they're relatively simple. We're going to be talking a little bit with levers today. Okay. Shout out Mr. Corey Jackson for teaching me all about levers. But I want to share my screen with you guys. We'll jump in here. I'm going to take the chat overlay off for the time being. We'll share screen. We'll go to the agency therapy stream board. And I just want to work through some of this stuff with you guys. It's so bright. Ooh. All right. Let me just make sure everything's good here. Give me a little confirmation. Can you guys see the share screen, and can you still hear me? Can you see the screen, and can you still hear me? Just a little confirmation. Drop it in the chat real quick. Just let me know if you guys got this. But I want to walk you guys through some mental models today on how exactly I think when it comes to scaling agencies. Okay. And there's multiple ways. There's never just one single way that people scale agencies. There's so many different ways to grow business and to be able to do scale an agency. But what I'm going to show you today is two different ways. I'm going to show you the typical way, how people mostly scale agencies, and then I want to give you a little bit of my framework and my mental model on scaling agencies. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. I'm going to move you guys to another screen so I can read chat at the same time, and also show you guys this. Okay, so little mental model today. We're talking about levers today, and I'm super stoked about it. For a little legend here for you guys, if it's got $1 sign in it, it's going to be a 5K per month client. If it's got $2 signs in it, it's going to be a 10K per month client. And if it's got $3 signs, it's going to be a 15K per month client. Okay. Now, anytime that we are looking at bringing on capacities, we're going to trade off a little something called capacity. And capacity is simply just the amount of time that it takes to fulfill on a client. So we only have a certain amount of capacity with our current staff, because eventually we run into a ceiling with the team, right? Of they can't take on any more clients. It's pretty self-explanatory. I feel like a majority of people understand that, hey, a certain amount of clients, we have a certain amount of capacity. And at a certain point, we're going to cap out capacity. And the only way to grow the business is either to bring on more clients or do something slightly different. And we're going to jump into it in just a second. But let's say that this is a 30K per month agency right here. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5K per month clients, right? Well, in order to fulfill for these clients, we only have a certain amount of capacity. Now, let's say we have 6 units of capacity to fulfill for this client. Okay, units is just relatively general, okay, terminology here, but we have 6 units of capacity or time capacity to fulfill for 6 clients that are paying us 30K per month. Now, I'm sure you guys would understand that at some point in time, you might churn a client. Okay. So we might churn 5K per month and this client might go away. Okay. That would leave us with 25K per month, but we earn back a slot of capacity. Okay. A unit of capacity. Okay. And so what happens is you're going to notice that our seesaw here, or our lever, starts to even out a little bit, right? So we gain some capacity back, but we also lose clients, which can be tough sometimes, right? When we experience some churn. Okay, so let's just plug this little guy back in there. Now, say we lose 3 clients, right? And then we earn uh 3 units of capacity back, right? Well, we have a 15K per month agency at this point, but have earned some more capacity back. So now we have a little bit more of a level playing field of, well, we got plenty of capacity, but we don't have as many clients to fulfill on, right? So just wanted to show you guys like just some quick models there. Does that make sense so far? Of, hey, we understand that when we have more clients, we have less capacity. And when we have more capacity, chances are we have less clients. Hopefully that's making sense so far. That's the first thing that I really want you guys to wrap your head around, is that the amount of capacity is directly tied, usually, to the amount of clients that we have. Okay. All right. If we're good there, give me some thumbs up in the chat. Okay. Well, we can start to design these models just slightly different. And this is where a higher level client tends to come in. Okay. Now, this is an example of a very similar path to this. Okay. So this is a 30K per month agency over here. And then this one is a 45K per month agency. Now, what's different about the 45K per month agency? Well, the angle is still the same. We are still loaded down with clients. We don't have any really capacity to take on new clients, but we'll notice a couple different things here, is that the client and the revenue that they're generating has increased. Okay. So this is a 10K per month client. This is a 15K per month client. And the rest of these are 5K per month, right? Totaling up, I think I did my math right there, 45K per month. And we have 45K per month agency. But the biggest difference here is that, hey, it's still the same capacity, but they're paying us more, right? And this is the model that I want to explain to you guys today. Of, this is how I see it and think about growing agencies, is that we tend to cut the bottom clients to make room for larger and larger clients. And as you get more established as an agency, as you continue to grow as an agency, you have the opportunity to start charging more and more for your services, right? This is what happens. You get more established, you have a better team, you guys grow, and you deliver better results for the brands or for whatever types of clients that you're serving. And you could justify higher price points because you can get them a higher return on their marketing investment. Now, if we shift over here, we'll kind of notice some things with this, and why this model tends to break at certain points in time is that we are very front loaded over on the client side. There's no capacity left, and there's no way for us to really scale this 45K per month agency. Now, what happens is we try to stack a new client on, okay? And that client tends to fall off. Why? Because we don't have enough capacity to fulfill for that client, right? And this happens at times because we only have 6 units of clients here. And so we only have 6 units of capacity on this side. Now, traditional models, traditional scaling models tend to go here. And this is what most agencies do, is they add new clients to their roster. So the client from over here, as an example, okay? We stack that. But what we do is we create more capacity internally inside of our agency through adding employees. Okay. So we add capacity by adding employees, right? So you'll notice that we have more time here available. So it levels out the scale and we can add in another client, right? And this gets us to 60K per month. So that 15K per month client that fell off over here on this side is now stabilized because we have more team and we have more capacity to fulfill for that client, right? Now, this is fine and dandy, but you'll notice that there's lower margin here. There's lower margin. Why? Because we added team. Okay. And when you add team, it is going to affect your margin. And so the exercise that I wanted to show you guys today is, okay, well, what if we were in the exact same situation, but we didn't need to add team? Okay. Instead, what we do is we take some of these units away, some of the smaller units. Okay. And with a 45K agency, say we took away 1, 2, and 3 5K per month clients, and we stacked an additional 3 15K clients. Okay, we'd still be effectively utilizing the same amount of the same amount of client units, right? and fulfilling 3 more capacity, right? Now, this is a 45K per month agency, or I think that I did that right. Yeah, 45K. Now, if we stacked another 3 clients in there, okay, but we removed 3 5K clients, well, that's a agency that could generate 75K per month at the same amount of capacity without adding any employees and being able to bring in more profit into that business. Now, this is the way that I think about scaling business and scaling agency. It's not through addition, right? It's not through addition. We talked about this the other in another live stream recently. Is that we don't just stack clients in addition. We can also grow through multiplication, right? And this is a very similar model. It's just kind of a continuation of the model, different visualization. That hey, ways that we can grow business is one, we could stack more services, or we could simply just increase our price point, right? And in this case, we're taking the clients that were a little bit more legacy and uh, clients that have been around a little bit longer, and we either move them to a higher price point, right? Their contract ends, and we renegotiate into a higher price point, or if they don't renegotiate into a higher price point, they simply get offboarded or maybe get referred out to another partner agency. And then we have the capacity to bring in an agency that can pay us exactly what we want. And the reason that I like this so much is that I'm kind of a profit snob and I want to look out for the most amount of profit because one, I want to pay my team well. If you want to have an A plus team, you got to pay your team well. And sometimes stacking just through addition doesn't allow you to pay your team the most. But if you're able to keep the same amount of clients and still have the same amount of capacity, but still increase your revenue, then you're going to have the opportunities to pay your team more. There's going to be internal growth. You're going to have more motivated team, and you're going to have a better team overall because at the end of the day, like if you want 8 players, you have to pay them well, right? And so this is what it allows us to do, right? Now you'll notice here we didn't increase our capacity at all, whereas in up here we had to increase our capacity, but at the end of the day, we have a smaller agency. Okay. Now, of course, you could stack more 5K clients here, but once again, that would require more capacity, more time to fulfill on those clients. First, removing some of the lower tiered clients and then moving higher tiered clients in or renegotiating contracts with them and moving them to a higher paid tier. And so, with that being said, we're going to be able to one, generate more profit, be able to pay our employees more, and be able to scale in a more stabilized fashion where when we actually need to add capacity, our revenue per head is going to be the highest possible, which is what we want. We want a very high revenue per head, the highest that we could possibly get it. And that's the mental model that I want to take you guys through today. I know it was relatively short, a 15-minute training, but that I know that there were some questions. Mike, I know you had some questions from today, so we'll open it up for a little Q&A, a little extended Q&A session. We might end a little bit early, but I wanted to kind of take you guys to that mental model. I thought it was kind of fun. I threw this together this afternoon and was really top of mind for me because I chatted on a few clients specifically on this. We're raising some price points inside of their agencies right now. They went from charging, pretty much 5K a month. This is like the exact model that I took them through. And now we're charging a minimum of 10K per month, and we have projects coming in at 15, 20K per month, right? So with that being said, like this is the mental model that I want to take you guys through today. Hopefully it makes sense. Hopefully it's helpful for you guys. But let's answer some questions. What questions do you guys have? Peter, yay, watch the replay, bro. It's a banger today. All right. Uh, Mike, what's up? Oh, I'm gonna bring this back over here. Okay. All right. Is this on the assumption that it takes the same unit of capacity to fulfill different tiered clients? Exactly. So it's under that assumption that we're not stacking like whatever client is coming in is still paying or is still taking the same amount of time. Now, if you have a client that you are expanding services with, which is kind of the model we talked about, it was either last week or 2 weeks ago. If you're expanding your service offering with them, so like say you're doing paid ads and then you stack in creative or you stack in landing page building, right? Well, that's going to require another unit of capacity for you guys, right? So that's different versus us just charging more for the exact same service to new clients that we're pitching because we can deliver the results that are good enough to be able to dictate those prices. So you're 100% spot on here that, yeah, like if you're going to stack new services or you're going to grow through something that we call like multiplication, right? Of like, hey, we're going to add another service in. Yeah, you're going to need more capacity because someone has to fulfill on that new service. Whereas what I'm talking about is we're transitioning a client from a 5K retainer on a paid ad service and we're moving it to a 10K retainer, right? So it's just talking about increasing price point, but we're cutting the bottom 10% to make room for clients that can pay us more at a new price point, right? So we might bring in, it might be a more qualified client, right? You might have a client currently that is a little bit unqualified to work with you, but hey, it brings in 5K a month. We don't necessarily want to get rid of that, and so this is like when you start to get like lead generation figured out. You have deals on the table, but you're starting to hit that ceiling, right? That capacity, right? And you know that you're kind of at this is when you start to get on phone calls with people and you don't need a deal, right? Yeah, or you don't feel like you're trying to really salvage a deal, or you feel like there's a need for a deal. That's when you know you're at this like really good capacity point of like, cool, we could really start charging what we want, and people are still interested in working with us. Cool. Glad that makes sense. What other questions do we have? Comments, questions, concerns, epiphanies, takeaways. Hit me. Hit me, hit me, hit me. Yeah, I mean, Mike, if you're not there yet, I mean that's totally fine, right? It's not like something that you have to do right now. It's something to keep in mind as you continue scaling that hey, there's other ways to grow outside of bringing on team, and one of the biggest mistakes that we see with agencies is they love bringing on team just so early. Stretch your capacity, increase your price points, stretch your capacity, bring on people as a last resort. Like we used to have a saying in our agency of like, we're we're gonna try it until it hurts, right? And fulfillment's going to get tough for a minute, but we're going to stretch the team. We're going to stretch ourselves a little bit, and then we're going to bring on additional team. Is it a little stressful? Of course it is. But we're going to protect profit, and we're also going to make sure that we're going to scale the most effectively as possible, and always bring good margins. Peter, good to see you, bro. Glad you're here. Did you mention increasing the value deliver when raising the price, or just raise the price because of high demand? We're just raising the price because of high demand. So the value is still there, and the value can be measured, right? So if you can't measure the value, if you can't show why the increase from 5K to 10K or 10K to 15K is justified, if the return isn't there, then this is not something that we can probably do. But if you guys are absolutely crushing it for clients, the return is there, and we're able to increase our price points and still provide a high level of value, then 100% this is possible. So hopefully that answers your question, Peter. What else we got? Drop them in the chat. Can be about this subject. It can be about something totally different. Mike, I know you had a few questions from earlier. Happy to answer anything that you got there. What other questions do we got? So you guys just got it all figured out, locked and loaded. Feeling good, feeling alive. All right, here we go. Let's go, Mike. Get them cranking in there. Drop them in. What are some ideas on questions to ask when doing cold outreach to discover ideal client profiles? What are some ideal ideas on questions to ask when doing cold outreach? So are you asking like how do I find my ideal prospect or ideal client profile? Or are you asking like, hey, like how do I do cold outreach? Right? Like what do I say to people? Like what scripts do I use? Um, give me the differentiator there. Like which one are you looking for? And then I can dive in specifically into one. What are some ideas on questions to ask when doing cold outreach? Yeah, how do you realize that I'm talking to the right person? So, a couple different things. When you first get started, Mike, you probably won't know, right? You got to get reps in, right? So, especially like when you're first getting started in the agency space and you're trying to land a couple of those first clients, beggars can't be choosers, right? So, you're gonna go for just as many clients as you possibly can. You might have some lower tier clients. Your price points might be a little bit lower as well, getting started. But that's the progression of starting an agency. You start at zero, you start at zero clients, you start at $0. So we'll take just about anything. And really, it's a race to get your first case study. So we're trying to get case studies. And when we get a case study and we can prove results, that's when we can increase our price point. So we need to be able to prove results. That's really what the race is to. So a couple different things. One, we're just gonna start working with people, right? Like it doesn't really matter who or for what price point, because remember the goal is to get to your first case study. If you can get to your first case study, then you're gonna have results and be able to prove out your model. Okay. And then after that, we slowly start to increase that price point. So you like for us in our agency, our first clients, we work for free. But then we got an ex client and we charged them $500, and then we charged $1,000, and then we charged $2,000, and then it was 5K, then it was 10K, then it was 20K, then it was 40K, right? And so this is one of those things where it's going to take some patience. It's going to take a little time. You're going to have to build relationships. You're going to have to understand your market thoroughly, be able to prove results. So the first year, it's a little bit of a grind, man. But the goal is to provide as many results and deliver a high level service for them as soon as possible. It's a race to being able to really prove out your concept. And once your concept is proven, then whatever the value exchange is there, whatever you can prove out as far as revenue generated for those clients, that's what you can start charging. Peter, you're always asking good questions. Drop a couple more in the chat. Got some more people joining in. Good to see everyone. Questions, questions, questions. We're talking increasing price points on agency services, getting our first clients. What else do we got? Relatively short training today. If you missed it, go back and watch it. It's quick. It'll take you 15 minutes to get through today. But happy to answer some other questions if you guys got them. Talk to me. What do we got? What are you guys excited about right now in the agency? What are you guys struggling with? Drop them in. Drop them in. That's it? We'll be all right. We'll be all right. Uh, uh, uh. Uh, Mike, excited about the new offer. Talk to me about the new offer, man. What's going on there? Tell me a little bit more. Oz, what's up, bro? Good to see you. Back on the agency therapy grind. You said I can't get enough people on foot indoor for at bats and don't have the spend. Been a struggle. So you're just not getting enough like leads coming through the door to get enough at bats at sales. Is that what I'm kind of hearing? Let me share another exercise with you guys real fast. Let me share another thing, another separate training. I'll do this one on the fly here. All right, let's talk about lead gen for a second. Do some sticky notes here. Sticky notes. All right, I'm sure you guys have been diving into $100 million leads by now. I haven't read it, but I understand the concept of how, like, what Hermosi is specifically going after here. Um, but there's four main categories that I kind of want to point your attention to, Oz. Okay, when it comes to lead generation, and here's the thing. Here's the deepest, darkest secret that I could possibly tell you about lead generation. They all work. Okay, they all freaking work. The question is, do you work? And a lot of times we give up just a little bit too early to see the fruits of the labor. Okay. So let's talk about lead gen for a second. What are four categories of lead gen? And I'm going to do them in order here. Okay. So most people start with a referral affiliate. Okay. So you have people that bring you clients. Okay. These could be clients that bring you clients. These could be people adjacent in adjacent industries that bring you clients. But referrals and affiliates pretty common, right? A lot of agencies that we chat with, they build a good network and they start building and growing their agency based off of referrals. Is this on? It is on. Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure. Okay. So that's the first thing. Okay. So referrals and affiliates. Okay. What people tend to get in second or sometimes first is outbound. Okay. Outbound is also great and also works. And this could be things like email. Okay. We teach this. This could also be um, LinkedIn. Okay. But outbound. And this also works. And then we have paid ads. And everyone wants to run paid ads. And we love paid ads. Paid ads are great. And a lot of us run paid ads. And it's awesome. Okay. But I'll tell you why it doesn't work sometimes. Okay. And then the last one, what's the last one? There's referrals, there's outbound, there's paid ads. Oh, there's organic. Boop. Organic content. And organic content is also great and it also works. But all of these things take different energy sources. Okay. Different energy sources. Referrals and affiliates. Let me do other sticky notes here. Referrals and affiliates take people. Yeah. We need to have a good network. Okay. People, network, gotta nurture relationships. And the bad thing about this, so let's put this up here, people and network. And the bad thing about referrals and affiliates is that it's inconsistent. Okay. Now, if your referral network is actually really good and really strong, okay, maybe it's a little less inconsistent. But it's not super reliable. It's not a lever that we could just be like, oh yeah, let's like push the lever on referrals and affiliates. Well, referrals just come in when referrals come in. There's really no control over it. We can ask, right? Like we could probe people and be able to draw them up. But for the most part, it's inconsistent. Okay. Now, outbound, okay, outbound is reliant on volume. Okay. And I've talked about this before in a couple of other live streams. And on volume, people are either looking or they're not looking. They're either buying or they're not buying. And that's the state that we will find people in when we send cold outbound. And why it takes so much volume to get a deal through the door with outbound is that people are either buying or they're not buying, right? And so when we land in someone's inbox, a majority of the time we land in people's inboxes who aren't looking and aren't buying. They're already working with an agency, they have an internal solution, or it might be a little bit too early in the process for them to bring you on as a client. And so that's why we send a ton of volume when it comes to email and LinkedIn, and we have to be consistent on it, and we have to send a lot because we need to be able to land in enough inboxes to finally land in the inbox of like someone that is looking. They are wanting a solution for the problem that you solve, and then finally you land in the right inbox, and that takes volume, right? So with this, okay, referrals and affiliates, we need people in network. For outbound, we specifically need volume and time. Paid ads, We need dollars. Okay. So the key thing with paid ads is, hey, we need money to spend. If you guys are spending $50 a day on ads, it's just not enough. It's just not enough money to test, right? We need to pump a little bit more through this. And my rule of thumb with paid ads is 5K per month, 3 months. You need to be able to sustain this, in my opinion, before you run paid ads. Oops. This is my rule of thumb here. Okay. And because you need to test, there needs to be a high level of testing paid ads for your own lead gen. And in order to do that, you're going to need to make changes to your funnel. You're going to need to make changes to your copy. You're going to have to make changes to your ad creative. And the only way to understand that it actually works is to pump enough money through the paid ads to understand if it's actually working. And if you've ever spent like 20, 30, 40, $50 on paid ads, or maybe $1,000 a month, you'll kind of notice that the results are pretty bleh. They're not that great. It's because we didn't have enough to test and we gave up probably a little bit too soon. But a minimum, if you're going to go spend on paid ads, you should be ready to spend 5K per month for 3 months. Okay. Now, that's my rule of thumb. Does that mean that that is 100% correct? No, I'm sure there's people that can make it work with $1,000 a month. But if I'm going to spend heavy and I'm going to push hard on it. Okay. Because paid ads is one of those things where it's like, hey, I'm going to hit growth fast and I need to get data back and I need to get enough data back to make changes to my campaign, to my creative, to my copy, to my landing pages, right? I need to know what's not working, and pushing enough people and enough money through it gives us the data that we need to make the right decisions on if paid ads is going to work for us. Okay. And lastly, as you know all about this one, organic content. Okay. Now, I'm going to switch these two around real quick. Okay. Because really, we should be doing organic content before we should be doing paid ads. Why? Why, Josh? Why would I ever do that? I love paid ads. Okay. Now, I know plenty of people that don't do organic content that absolutely crush it on paid ads. Okay. But in my opinion, uh, organic content needs to come first. Okay. Now, let's talk about what we need here. Okay. Timeline. Timeline has to be so extended. Guys, 4 people are here right now inside of agency therapy, which is totally fine. I love that 4 people are here, but let me blow this up a little bit more for you guys. I love that 4 people are here, but here's the thing, guys, is like organic content takes a very long time. You have to be willing to bang your head against the desk until you get something to work or until you get enough traction. And guys, I've been doing agency therapy for about 2 years now. And not a ton of people come, but people drop in and out all the time, right? And this is evergreen content. So people come back and watch this over a long period of time. That's why I'm very bullish on YouTube content, is that it is going to live on your channel forever. And more, I've been doing content pretty consistently. I wouldn't say I'm perfect by any means, but pretty consistently over the past year and a half, almost 2 years now. And I'm starting to get more and more people coming through our ecosystem that are like, yeah, I've seen some of your stuff. I've seen some of your YouTube content. I've watched your podcast before. I know that you do this podcast with Nick Shackelford, right? And so with that being said, like you need a long timeline, but it also starts to create, oops, it also starts to create an ecosystem. And this ecosystem becomes really important to us because it starts to nurture the leads that we get from everywhere else. And so essentially what this starts to look like is a little something like this, where all of these at some point in time get a little touch point with your organic content. Now what this does, I know this looks really ugly right now, so give me 2 seconds. Let's move this one over here. All right. So eventually what this does is this builds trust. Okay. And when you build trust, with your audience, it's easier to land these deals. I don't know if you've ever had a conversation with someone that came in through outbound or cold email. They're very skeptical. They're like, who is this guy? What does he want? Should I check it out? Should I not check it out? Okay. And having this organic content that's evergreen So you reach out to them. They go to your LinkedIn profile. They go to your YouTube channel. They go to your Instagram, and all of a sudden they're flooded with content from you. And they're like, "Oh, okay, cool. Like this guy seems to know what he's doing. He posts a lot of content on building agencies. I could probably trust him." Or maybe they watch a full YouTube video of yours and like, "Oh, dang, that was actually really helpful. If I get on a call with this guy, it's probably going to be even more helpful." Okay, so everything kind of feeds into that organic content. So hopefully that's making sense so far, right? So paid ads, we need to be able to spend enough. I'm gonna move this up here. Okay. Paid ads, we need to be able to spend enough. Outbound, we need to send enough volume. Referrals and affiliates, we need people and network. And organic content, we need to have a long enough timeline for it to actually work. Now, where do we start? Well, chances are you're already getting some of these, Oz. But normally outbound is our second thing. Now, here's the thing with outbound. It's very similar to paid ads. Okay. It's just we swap money for volume. Okay. So we need to be able to pump enough volume through it for it to actually work. And we need to do just like we do with paid ads. And it's so funny to me. Marketers always get so hung up on lead generation. And it's funny to me because it's like, dude, like, how's your marketer? And everyone else in here is a marketer. And everyone has these skills and these talents and know exactly what to do. And they know exactly how it should work for other people. But for some reason, they get caught up on making it work for themselves. And so when it comes to outbound, and this is what people are always like, oh, it doesn't work. Like, I'm just not getting anything. Well, we sent like 40 messages. We need to send thousands, thousands and thousands and thousands. Get the data back. If it's still not working, we make adjustments. Because here's the thing, guys, it works for me. We get leads all the time through outbound. It works for a lot of our clients. They get leads all the time through their outbound. Why wouldn't it work for you? And usually the reason that it doesn't work for you is that one, we're not being patient enough. And two, we just haven't made the adjustments necessary to start getting the lead flow. Okay. So push on it. Okay. Test it. Run it through the freaking mill and give it some time. Okay. Be a marketer. Change your copy if it's not working, but give it enough time to actually mature and nurture. Okay. And Oz, you have access to our program, dude. Like the LinkedIn, the email side. There's full trainings on this and how to set it up exactly step by step. And here's the thing, it does work. It was like we have to put enough through it. Okay. It's a volume game. Eventually we can dedicate it off to a VA. But in the meantime, you're like, yeah, you might have to run it. Okay. And then organic content, as you know better than anyone, the power of organic content. Gotta post more, man. And here's the thing with organic, everyone always thinks like there's so many different channels. You got Twitter, you got YouTube, you got LinkedIn, you got Instagram. You gotta find where your persona lives. Okay. This is why I'm so bullish on building out ideal client profiles and knowing your avatar very intimately, is that you need to know where they live. And you really gotta push on the platform that they live. And for us, like a lot of people in our niche, they live on TikTok or I'm sorry, not TikTok, on Twitter and LinkedIn. Like those are two. So we push pretty hard on those platforms. Okay, my partner pushes hard on LinkedIn and Twitter. I push hard on some more of like the video content, YouTube and Instagram. So with that being said, organic content does come into play, right? Because it builds trust, and these two I'm really bullish on right now. We don't run too many paid ads currently. We run about $700 a month in paid ads to get opt-ins, which is a whole different category in general. It's more of like, hey, we're just getting in front of people. Okay, so we're getting in front of them with organic content, outbound, and paid ads. So we're not leaning fully into this yet because we're not ready for it, because the organic side hasn't been developed yet. Because when you start running paid ads, you need to have developed assets, like marketing assets. So whether that is resources, trainings, whatever it is, for them to actually be able to download, you need to give some value up front, because once again, we need to build this little thing called trust. Okay, it's kind of like the center. Everything we do needs to have trust. Now, with the referrals and affiliates, we kind of get to skip over that because they're getting introduced to us by someone that they probably already trust. So we get to skip over a lot of the trust process in this. Okay. But outbound, there's very low level of trust. So we have to build it quickly. Paid ads, same here. Okay. How many paid ads you see for an offer similar to yours? Okay. all the time. This is where the differentiator comes in. What questions do you guys have? Oz, was that helpful? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. What other questions do you guys have? While you guys are thinking of questions, don't forget, like, subscribe to the channel. Would definitely appreciate it. Goes a long way. We do this every single week. Like I said, gotta start making organic content. Agreed, brother. Here's the thing. Pick one platform. Go all in on it. Okay? Get really consistent at one. Once you get consistent at one, then stack another one in. I stopped to focus more on volume for outreach. And here's what happens when you make organic content, guys. So check this out. So I just did a share screen of stuff like this. Now, this probably isn't something that I would turn necessarily into a training quite yet. It needs a little bit of work. But guys, this whole mural board here that I share with you guys every week, this is such a good lead magnet for me. You're like people joining into our programs because here's the thing is like I can package these up and some of these are like really robust. So let's talk about like the LinkedIn lead gen for example, right? It's a very robust training. I send this to so many of our prospects that are struggling with lead generation. Why? Because it's effective, it works, and it's a step-by-step guide in order to do it. And I built it out originally for organic content, and now it's an evergreen training that I can send to prospects to show and build trust with, right? And if you guys want to go back and watch this, you can. It's right here in the Miro board. You guys should have access to it. If you don't, let me share the link with you real quick. But this is for me, like how like if I'm building organic content, I'm going to design it to be in depth. And so I can turn it into an asset that will eventually be a marketing material for me. And so I can put this behind a funnel if I wanted to. I can give it out for free. I can do whatever I want with it. And like you guys are here, so I'm gonna of course share it with you. If you guys need it, there it is. It's in the chat. But that's the purpose that's why we get into organic content, right? And that's the power of it is that we can start to create assets that we can utilize as marketing materials, trust builders within the industry, and it shows our market leader positioning, right? We want to be leaders in this space. We don't want to be just another Joe. Turned off the wrong one. Agree. YouTube is best. Yeah, for sure. YouTube is one of those things where it just takes some time. Like I don't have a ton of followers, but we get leads from YouTube every month. Every month, people come through because it's evergreen. People come back to it. Any other questions, guys? Happy to jam for a couple more minutes here if you guys have questions. If not, we'll say sayonara. Hopefully this was helpful. What if you're servicing local clients? Content still matters. Yeah, of course. Yeah. YouTube is still great. You want to be able to service where your clients hang out. So YouTube's great because a lot of times you could turn these things into trainings, right? If you're doing like a little bit longer form content like this, if you're doing like a podcast that you're posting on YouTube, right? It's good marketing assets. So that's why I like video, and it takes some time to get used to, and you have to really pour into it. I was very uncomfortable doing this stuff early on, but I'm more of I like the live versions better. I need to get better at the pre-recorded stuff, but I enjoy like this back and forth. I enjoy communication with other people, and so this is where my content skill set tends to shine a little bit more versus me sitting down in front of a camera and me being like, okay, today we're talking about this and like here, let me take you through the guided thing. It just doesn't work as well for me. Um, I enjoy communicating with people and having an audience, even though it's a small audience. It's like I still enjoy having an audience versus just talking to a camera. When I talk to a camera, I'm just not as good, in my opinion. Maybe it's a limiting belief. It probably is, but that's just my opinion. That's what I enjoy personally. Bop, bop, bop. Good stuff, guys. If there's no more questions, we could be done, and we could say peace out. I'll give it another 30 seconds here. While you guys are chilling here, if you haven't subscribed yet, please, please, please subscribe to the channel. Go check out Daily Ops Boost. We've got a couple new episodes dropping tomorrow. Well, one episode dropping tomorrow, but back on our regular schedule, daily schedule starting tomorrow. Episode 49 dropping tomorrow should be really fun. And then if you guys want to follow me on other social channels, I post short form content on Instagram. I don't really post it much on TikTok or YouTube, but Instagram is where I'm really active, and then also Twitter. If you guys want some more written content. Mike, appreciate the subscribe, man. Thank you so much. You guys, we do this every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Time. Put it on your calendar because you should come back and you should ask questions. Because here's the thing: we all we all have to learn. We're all figuring this thing out. So might as well learn from someone that's done it before and can help you guys scale up your agency. If you guys have more questions, feel free to DM me. I'm pretty active on Twitter and Instagram if you DM me there. If you DM me other places, chances are I won't answer, or it might take me a little bit longer to get to. So like LinkedIn, I like never answer LinkedIn messages. So don't DM me there. All right, team. Thank you so much for your attention today. I know that it's a little bit late. I appreciate your attention on this stream today. We'll be back next week. We'll see you on the next one.